Hey everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Maestro. Let's talk football. So this is the morning after the devastating defeat at Emirates. Arsenal lose 3-1 to City. Sorry about that. And now the momentum shifts to City's side for the whole title race. So I'm trying to talk about my quick thoughts on the match, how I think the first half went, second half went, where the game was lost for Arsenal and what City did that was well and kind of capitalized on. So first, just my general thoughts on the match, just how I feel right now. Devastated. For those that don't know, I am an Arsenal fan, and I look. There was always a possibility of a loss. Of course, it is City. They do have some ridiculous team, but I expected a lot more from us. I expected us to rise up to it and kind of just be far more secure than we were, and far more mature than we were. But ultimately, we played in a way that champions just simply cannot play in such a game. We do not deserve to call us, champions elect, or maybe we should become champions, but because that performance was just dreadful. I'll explain why it was dreadful. I'll talk about it more in detail about what I think, but just right now, the way I'm feeling is kind of devastated. That should have not have happened. We should have not have let that happen, and ultimately, it feels like it's happened quite a few times since City has come to the Emirates. We've let them get away with one, and it's unforgivable. So let's talk about the match itself. The first half, I was very positive after the first half. I actually liked what I saw. I thought that this Arsenal team was for the taking. I liked the way I thought Jorginho, when he first came in for Partey, who was injured, I was extremely worried, but I thought he played very well, and I liked how Xhaka played. I liked how Odegaard played. The highlight was Zinchenko. I thought he made things happen. He was coming into midfield, and it was looking very bright. Saka was very, very good, I felt like, and Nketiah looked lively, and also I would say defensively we were fantastic. I liked how Saliba handled Haaland in the first half. And it was all looking really, really good right up until Tomiyasu's error. An error that I haven't seen him made for his entire tenure at Arsenal. He does not make those errors, and he made it in the biggest game of all. Simple goal, and we just kind of fed it to them against play. We just fed them that goal, and it was just so devastating. But at the time, I'm still feeling good because ultimately we are playing better. And I was right to feel good because, as we do know, we then get a penalty. Which, real quick, on the penalty, people are saying it's not a penalty, it is a penalty. Yes, there are times where you don't see that given, but ultimately, Ederson does a little jump there in which he loses control of himself because he's in the air. And his landing, he clashes with Nketiah, doesn't touch the ball at all, and ultimately that is a foul. Now there is a question of, but the shot was already made, so it had no impact. That I'm not sure about. If you want to say that because of that it's not a penalty, okay, but if we put that aside and just focus on the contact between Ederson and Nketiah, it is a foul. But that doesn't matter because of course they lost anyway. But yeah, the penalty, Saka, who is just, ever since that Euros miss, he's just the guy I want to always take penalties. His mentality is just fantastic. And after the penalty, we could have gotten a second, but City themselves kind of clashed back a bit, and it was a good half in general. Second half is when it all went to shit. I noticed how Haaland, I think Pep probably told Haaland to focus more on Gabriel as opposed to Saliba, and he did exactly that. Balls were coming over to Haaland onto Gabriel right behind him, and he did a job on Gabriel. He could not cope at all. I noticed how Odegaard's decision making was a lot worse. I felt De Bruyne did step it up before. He was a lot better, and the defense was a lot better too. I do think we kind of missed opportunity of going at Silva. I do understand why why Saka didn't go at Silva as much, because every time he would try, he would always get support from the midfield, and generally it would always be a 2-on-1. And Of course, it doesn't matter what defender you know. It doesn't matter how bad you are as a defender. If it's 2-on-1, it's just, you know, it's gonna be a lot easier. Jorginho, I think, was still good. Xhaka, I think, was not. But ultimately, what failed us in the second half were moments in which we made huge mistakes that City capitalized on. It was the Arsenal of old, the Arsenal that self-destructs. You know, I gotta tell you, I did not miss the Arsenal. You know, when I was watching us in the second half, specifically like the last 30 minutes, I'm thinking, this is the Arsenal of old. This is the Arsenal that self-destructs in these huge moments and just lets the team get away with it. Because here's what should be said: this is a huge opportunity lost. If you listen to Pep's comments and Jack Grealish's comments, there's a case they made that they don't think that they played well, that ultimately maybe Arsenal were better. And if I look at the game as a whole, they were deserved the winners, but I feel like Arsenal really just, if there's a few little tweaks, just take the mistakes out, could have won, get a 6-point gap with a game in hand. But ultimately, with the mistakes they made, not rising up to the moment, and the terrible decision making in the final third in the second half, which, by the way, that's one other thing. The decisions that were made in the final third by our offensive players were terrible. Xhaka, Saka was in, should have shot straight away, or he dummied it, he put Ake on the floor. Now, Ruben Diaz was to his left, but Ruben Diaz wasn't alert in time, because Saka could have taken a shot off into the left corner. He didn't. He chose to dribble again, because I think he thought maybe Diaz would block it. But if I looked at it again, there was a chance there for a shot. That was a huge mistake. Xhaka, there was some beautiful play in which it puts Xhaka in with I believe Martinelli on the left, and Xhaka just takes too long to decide anything. Ultimately, he loses the ball completely to Diaz. By the way, if you hear any background noise, I'm so sorry about that. Now, other issues. Odegaard, he has played a few poor games this past 3 games. He's still fantastic. I still very much enjoy watching him play. And there were moments where his passing was decisive and it kind of cut through, but I think he wasn't good enough either. But let's talk about City and what they did well. Haaland did a job on Gabriel. I think he played really well. De Bruyne, I don't think he played that well in the first half. In the second half, he kind of came alive, and his passing was really efficient, and the assist was actually really good from him. The defense was the highlight, and Rodri. They did a great job. All of them. I mean, Silva, I felt they got away with one, because we really should have driven at him with Saka and kind of getting Tomiyasu to come and support to help him out with a 2-on-1 to make a 2-on-2. But look, you know, we didn't do that in the end, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, good performance. Grealish, I thought, was actually pretty good. But just my general thoughts on the game as a whole: huge opportunity missed. Missed because of silly mistakes that we made in such a huge game when we can't make them, and ultimately in the final third, that was the issue with our defensive performance. And offensively, we were just nowhere near decisive enough, and the decision making was dreadful. And it's a huge opportunity missed. Nketiah, I should note, in the past 4 games I've really missed Jesus, and today was another reason why. The argument for Nketiah over Jesus is that he is a better goal scorer. He could have scored a hat-trick today. He did not. He scored no goals today. So just a big miss. I also want to note the Partey miss. Partey is, of course, a miss because he helps Xhaka a lot. But Jorginho, I think, did actually pretty well. I don't fault him for his performance. I would say him, Saka, and Zinchenko were 3 best players today. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually happy with how he played, and it's nice to know that that Jorginho does still have something left in the tank to do play well if Partey was to be injured again. But going forward, where we are now in the title race, the momentum has shifted greatly in City's side. Next game for Arsenal is Villa Park. They must win. Not, oh, there'll still be like 20 games left, blah, blah, it'll be fine. No. They must win. If they don't win that game, it truly is over. Right now, I would say it's a 70-30% chance City win it. Even though Arsenal have a game in hand, I understand that. But even with that, I say there's a 70-30% chance Arsenal win it. And 70 chance that City win it. But if they lose against Villa Park, it's almost, for me, set and done. There'll be far too much confidence, momentum onto City's side, and our Arsenal team will be dejected and let down. And I just don't feel like we can recover. But it isn't over. It isn't over. It's still a title race. For the longest time, I always thought to myself, Arsenal could not win the league. They can't. City are just their team. Arsenal's team is worth like 2 carats and 4 rupees, and then City's team is worth like fucking billions. There's just no possible way we could win. They are better. Their midfield is better. Their defense is better. They have a better striker. But as the season progressed, I saw more and more how good we were and how amazing we were playing and how bad City were and how much they were struggling and kind of failing to deal with the struggles. But so when I made my video of the half-season prediction, I chose Arsenal. I went against my mind and went with my heart. But it is what it is. Look, it's not over. Do I think City will win it now? Of course I do. Yes, 100%. I know Arsenal have a game in hand, but there's just far too much momentum shifted onto City's side that they will capitalize on. It's very disappointing, but we are where we are. Moving forward, like I said, they must win against Villa Park. Must. This Villa Park will now be their biggest game of the season. Every game from now on will be their biggest game of the season until City, if they even do, go into bad form. But it is what it is. That's my thoughts on the game as a whole. That's my thoughts on the title race from now on, where I think it will go. But listen, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that this was a big opportunity missed? Do you think that City would just better in every way? And in terms of the title race, is it over, or is there still hope for Arsenal? Please like if you enjoyed. Please subscribe for more. Please take care of yourself. Have a great day. See you later.